Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice Radio, first of all, Happy New Year, it's the 1st of January. Secondly, it's Turtonator Day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The official Pokemon Twitter did reveal a new card today. Unfortunately, it was Lucario GX, and as you may have noticed, my Lucario GX video came a couple of days ago. So today, we are talking Turtonator. It's a Turtonator kind of day, ladies and gentlemen. And we are starting off by looking at the new Turtonator from the upcoming Ultra Prism expansion. One of the last cards that we need to look at from Ultra Prism, but it could be kind of good. Now, one of the things I love about Turtonator, it's always a basic Pokemon, which means it's easily splashed into decks. Now, it also means you get Max Elixir. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck, attach a basic energy you find to a bench basic Pokemon. It means that you get Fighting Fury Belt, which puts your HP up by 40 and allows you to do an extra 10 damage if you attach it to a basic Pokemon. And of course, being a basic fire Pokemon is really good because you then have access to Volcanion EX and the amazing Steam Up ability, discard a fire energy from your hand and then do 30 more damage for each fire energy you discard. Though you can, of course, only discard 1 fire energy per Volcanion. So being a basic Pokemon, especially a basic fire Pokemon with Steam Siege in the format, means a Turtonator is always going to have a bunch of advantages. Now, being a fire Pokemon could be really good in the near future because metal Pokemon look like they're about to start crushing. We've got the new Solgaleo, we've got Duskmane Necrozma, etc, etc. Now, of course, the new Solgaleo does have an ability that removes weakness from all of your Pokemon, but then again, it's looking like we might actually see some fire decks played with Garbodor to try and counter this. That does, of course, mean it will be turning off your Steam Up ability. But then again, if you're hitting for weakness, you don't need Steam Up, really. And if you're not playing against a metal deck, then don't get your Garbodor out. Life is good. Weakness to water, I think, is going to be a bit of an issue because the new Empoleon is looking incredibly good, as is Glaceon GX. The retreat cost of 4 is very high, but you get Heavy Ball, so it's not the end of the world. And 130 HP is, to be perfectly honest, about right. It's quite good. It's quite standard for a big non-GX basic Pokemon. I'll take it. But as with all of these Pokemon, the most important thing is what they do in terms of attacks. Also, quick shout out to Scorched Earth, a really nice stadium. Discard a fire energy from your hand or fighting. Draw 2 cards. Big fan of Scorched Earth. The first attack here, and remember, as always, I do put timestamps in the description if you ever want to just flick straight to a particular attack or come back and watch bits of the video again. It does, for 1 fire energy, 10 damage plus burn. Now, 10 damage isn't very much. Thing is, it doesn't have to be very much. It's not that important because we've got so many ways of adding damage here. So, let's go through them all. First of all, we've obviously got Choice Band. Now you've got Fighting Fury Belt, but let's assume we want to do as much damage as possible. Choice Band puts it from 10 to 40 as long as you're hitting an EX or a GX Pokemon. Then you've got Steam Up with Volcanion EX, so you could, in theory here, be doing 160 plus burn. Now that's a lot to ask for. 160 plus burn means you've got a Choice Band, it means you've got 4 Volcanion EX on the bench, it means you've discarded 4 fire energy from your hand. It is not an every turn proposition, but it is possible. If you don't like Scorched Earth, might I recommend Brooklet Hill, a really nice stadium that allows you to search for a basic fire or water Pokemon, put them straight onto your bench, and of course, we have a dual type in Volcanion. It is partly water type, so that's pretty good. Then, of course, we can take advantage of Fisherman. It was reprinted in Breakthrough, so it's still in the format at the moment. It allows you to get 4 basic energy from your discard pile and put them straight into your hand. And then, of course, you use Brooklet Hill to get all your Volcanion out. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it could very much work, ladies and gentlemen, as long as none of them are prized. But then again, nowadays we've got Gladion, so if you do have a Volcanion prize, Gladion will help you out. I know you're unlikely to be hitting for 160 plus burn, but I do know that hitting for 100 plus burn, 2 Volcanion and a choice band, that is not outside the realms of possibility. And at this stage, I need to remind you of another Pokemon that we are getting in Ultra Prism. It's Infernape. Infernape's got a really good ability that says that burn does 6 damage counters between turns. Now, usually between turns, after your turn, after their turn, etc., burn does 2 damage counters. You flip a coin. If heads, you're no longer burned. With an Infernape, you flip a coin after taking 6 damage counters. And this is where this starts to add up quite nicely. So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got a choice band and you've got a single Volcanion. So you use 1 steam up, you hit for 70. But then, of course, your opponent takes 6 damage counters from burn. Let's say they flip a tails and don't get out the active. They then take another 6 damage counters from burn, and they come back to you with 190 damage on. That's enough to KO a Buzzwole. I like this attack from Turtonator. It's a basic Pokemon, and this attack costs 1 single energy, so it is incredibly techable into any fire deck. But then, of course, time you start adding in Choice Band, Steam Up, and Infernape, this 10 damage plus burn could add up to big one-hit KOs. Now, again, it's not that likely. But if you did pull off some combination of Brooklet Hill and Fisherman, and you managed to get 4 Volcanion out, and used a Fisherman so you could use 4 Steam Ups, and you had an Infernape on the bench, you would essentially be doing 220 damage for 1 energy on a basic Pokemon. 10 damage plus the 120 for the 4 Steam Ups, plus the Choice Band is 160, plus the 6 for the burn is 220. This is going to be a once per game that you actually pull it off. It's not going to be something you can do every turn. But it's on a basic Pokemon for a single energy. There will be plenty of turns where doing 40 plus burn, just laying 6 damage counters down and forcing them to try and get out the active, is gonna be enough. But there's plenty of turns where you can do more than that. I really like this first attack. I think if you're playing an Infernape deck, this is an absolute no-brainer tech card, but I think even if you're playing something like a Volcanion deck, you need to consider this quite strongly. Although do remember that this is going to be coming out in our February set, and in August Volcanion will rotate, so you're only getting 6 months of action with Volcanion. The second attack here is expensive, but the thing is, it hits the numbers beautifully. 1 fire, 3 colourless energy, 100 damage. Essentially here, this is not an attack to use unless you're hitting for weakness, but if you are hitting for weakness, you're hitting 260. And that's what you need to be hitting. Solgaleo, assuming the new one isn't turning off weakness, 250 gets KO'd. Metagross, 260 gets KO'd. I am, of course, assuming you're using a choice band here, otherwise you're hitting for 200 and it's going badly. Decidueye, 260, it gets KO'd. Annoyingly, if you don't have a choice band against a Golisopod, you'll do 200 and it will survive. It's a very expensive attack, but don't forget we've got Kayode that will just put 4 energy on there and you're good to go. Do you really want to be ending your turn to put 4 energy on a Pokemon that's got 130 HP and will be KO'd fairly quickly? Arguably not. I'll leave that one up to you guys. But then you've got the baby Volcanion, hey Nick, which can accelerate energy quite quickly. And let's not forget that you've got Max Elixir. So no one's arguing here that you don't have opportunities to get the energy on there. It's a decent, non-GX, I get a one-hit KO kind of attack. It's not the main reason we like the Pokemon, but it is useful in some circumstances. But in the right deck, This first attack for 1 energy on a basic Pokemon is really good. It is a kind of Pokemon you need to put in your deck because you never know when you're going to want to chuck it into a deck, and I think in any Volcanion deck you need to consider it. And in any Infernape deck, it's an absolute no-brainer. It's a tech Pokemon, and by now, a lot of you have probably guessed, I'm giving it a good, solid, ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill, garden variety, free Wassies. That's right, tech cards that may be played and you need in your binder just in case are free Wassies. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time in the new year for you guys to go in the comment section and tell me I'm wrong. So be nice about it, but get down there, tell me what you think about Turtonator, and of course, either Happy New Year or Happy Turtonator Day, depending on what you're celebrating. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far, the most important thing, as always, as we head into the new year, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.